So I have a lot of books on my physical TBR right now and a lot on my Kindle. And I have a kind of new setup where I have a book cart for all of my unread books. And I want to get through them. And I don't really know quite where to start. I have books that are like a higher priority for me to get to, but I don't really know what to do. And a couple of weeks ago, I saw this shop on Etsy that makes these like scratch offs, and they had one that was a bookmark, and I thought it was so cute. So this is the everyday TBR bookmark. They had specific ones, so like ones that were specifically for romance books or thrillers or fantasies, but I kind of like to mix it up. I don't always just read like one genre. So I thought this would be the best option, but it's super cute. So I'm gonna scratch off and see what the first prompt is. There's like random prompts under all of these. So I'm gonna do it one by one. I was thinking about doing like 2 or 4 at a time or something, but I think it's gonna be more interesting if I just do it one at a time. And I'll always be looking forward to like what could be next. So I'm gonna scratch off a prompt, and hopefully it matches with one of the books that I want to read. Like that's a high priority. So yeah. So we got first book in a series. There are so many books that this could fit with. It was a lot rougher to scratch off the, I don't know what this is called actually, but it was a lot rougher than say like lottery tickets are. But I'm excited to go and pick a book. I haven't done any type of like prompt chooses my book type of video or anything, so let's go see what there is. Okay, so ta-da, my new TBR card. I have just like a kind of slightly different setup for it. And I have a lot of books that are in a series. Not all of them are like the first though, but this is probably going to be a fantasy book. There are other series that are in fantasy. Like it could be like a mystery series or something, but it's probably going to be something fantasy. So I have the Smoke and Bone series. Oh god. The Hobbit. The Hobbit is a standalone, right? I'm pretty sure it is. I'm probably not going to pick that anyways. Sword Catchers are the first in a series. Throne of the Fallen is the first of a series. So is the Tainted Cup. A Fate Inked in Blood. Oh, and Ember in the Ash is as well. These are not. Mistborn. I have the Mistborn trilogy as well. I don't think anything over here is. These are just like kind of romance books. No. Is You Deserve Each Other part of like a standalone series? I'm not sure. So I'm not even gonna go for it. Now, my Kindle. Let's see. I know there's one I'm kind of thinking about. And it's Heartless Hunter is now, I newly discovered it is on Kindle Unlimited, and I really want to read that book, so I think I might choose that one. I also have The Murder of Mr. Wickham, which, wait, is that the first one or the second one? Yes, that's the first one, in a like Regency mystery book series. When the Moon Hatched, surely that's a series. I don't know though. We Hunt the Flame, that's the first one. Oh, The Raven Boys. I want to read The Raven Boys too. The Bridge Kingdom. What else is, oh, I have Endgame by Chloe Walsh. That's also a series. Chloe Walsh wrote the Boys of Tommen series, and she does have a backlog of books. I never hear anybody talk about her backlog, but I got it on my Kindle because it was 99 cents, so I could do that. Also Done and Dusted. That's a series. The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson. I'm 99% that sure that's book one in one of his series, but I'm definitely not doing that. Addicted to You, City of Brass. Oh, The Poppy War, Jade City, King of Scars. That's the first in a duology. I'm like thinking because I really do want to read The Crimson Moth. It is the first in a series. It's the only book out in a series though. So maybe that's a good way to do it, because if I start a series, I'm probably going to want to keep reading it, and that will be like the issue I have, because I really do want to read Daughter of Smoke and Bone, because I hear everybody talk about this book. I know, oh, Stephanie Garber, who wrote Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart. She said she loves this book series and she like draws inspiration from it. So that also really sold me. And who else did? Chloe Gong. I was about to turn around and look at the author's name because her books are right there. She wrote Foul Lady Fortune, the Immortal Longing series, and Our Violent Ends. No, that's one of them. I can't remember if that's the first one in the series, but yes, Our Violent Ends and Our Violent Demise. Oh, These Violent Delights. That's it. Both of those authors really, really talk about this book series a lot, so I want to read it. I don't know too much about it. There's like doorways and drugs, I think. That's like all I know about this book series, but I was so sold based off of their recommendation. And I do want to read An Ember in the Ashes, but just don't feel like now's the time. But although I do want to read this, I feel like I'm gonna want to jump to book 2 and 3 when I'm done. So I am gonna go with Heartless Hunter. Shocking, I know, but I'm excited to read this. From my, like, all I really know is that it is a witch and witch hunter kind of scenario, and like the witch is like courting the witch hunter to like throw him off her trail, but the witch hunter is like pretend courting her back because he wants information, because there's like some ties between what's going on and like one of her merchant ships or whatever. So that's like kind of how things start, and obviously it just really reminds me of the Serpent and Dove series, which I really liked, so I really want to read this. Plus I've heard really good things, so this is where we're starting. Okay, I am here again. I finished The Crimson Moth today and I really liked it. It did everything I needed it to do. It was engaging, it was fun, it got me back into reading now that school's kind of done for me and I can pick it up a bit. I finished like 80% of this book in one day, so safe to say I enjoyed it. It is very romantic-y. It is very heavy on the romance. I thought the fantasy element was fun. It was like a little game of like, hi Molly. It was fun to like watch their game of like cat and mouse kind of go back and forth. I really liked the way their relationship was developed. Obviously didn't love the way the book ended, just in the sense that it's a bit of a cliffhanger, like something really big happened at the end of this book and I have to wait until February for book 2 of this duology to come out and figure out how it really ends. But solid like 3.5, 3.75. I don't think it was anything like super crazy, but it was like a fun, enjoyable time. If you like romantasy, you would enjoy this book for sure. So that does mean though that it is time to pick another book to read. I have one book that I desperately want to read next, and I'm really hoping that the prompt fits it. So only time will tell. Let's figure it out. In your favorite genre. Well, I don't think this will be hard to determine. My favorite genre is for sure fantasy. That is just easily it. Very exciting. Let's go pick it. We're back. There are a couple new books on my TBR shelf. I had a package or two arrive since starting the Crimson Moth. So newly added to my TBR, I have How to End a Love Story, Hellbent, Beautiful World, Where Are You? And I also have Powerful, which is the novella that comes after Powerless by Lauren Roberts, I believe. But for this book choice, we're going to be picking a fantasy book because the prompt that I got said to pick a book in your favorite genre, which is just fantasy. So I am most definitely going with Hellbent because I just finished a 9th house and I desperately want to know what comes next. Desperately. But for the sake of the argument, I could have also done Powerful, the novella, because it's just hidden back there. But I also could have done Smoke and Bone, Daughter of Smoke and Bone, I mean. Technically, I think I could have done The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. That's all from here. I could have done Swordcatcher, The Caraval of Curiosities, Throne of Fallen, The Tainted Cup, A Fate Inked in Blood, An Ember in the Ashes. That's all from there. And then I could have done The Night Circus, Mistborn. What's this one called? One for My Enemy, and The Grimoire of Grave Fates. Yes. But this is what we're doing. Hopefully the other books I choose will have some more variety, but I'm very excited for this, so. Okay. It's 5:30 in the morning and I've been up, not all night reading. I probably picked this book back up at like 2 a.m. because it's a weird night for me. But I'm getting towards the end of this now. What percent am I through? I'm on page 321. Let's see. I'm about 67% through this, it says. And I don't know how I have not like thrown this book across the room. I really wanted to not too long ago. Also, I've been going ham. I don't know if you can tell. I have like some tabs on this and I've just been like underlining like crazy. Random stuff that seems important, lines that I think are funny. There are some funny lines in here. Man, I've been chuckling. I don't even know what to say. I am definitely enjoying it. This book feels kind of unique. I don't really read a lot of dark academia, let alone dark academia done this way with magic. I've read other books that are probably categorized as like fantasy dark academia, like A Deadly Education, but it's quite different than this. This seems like it's like The Secret History but with magic. I don't know. I never actually finished The Secret Histories. Man, oh man. I've read like 200 pages tonight. And I don't... What's he even say? I really like the writing in this book. I think that's why I've been underlining so much. And I like the view of magic in this book. Like this part I underlined. It says, the problem wasn't books and fairy tales, just that they told half the story, offering up the illusion of a world where only the villains paid in blood, the ogre stepmothers, the wicked stepsisters, where magic was just and without sacrifice. I don't know, I really like the writing in it, and it's so interesting to think of it compared to the other Leigh Bardugo books I've read, and I've read the Shadow and Bone series and the Six of Crows duology, and this is just like a very different vibe than those two books. I don't think you would necessarily know that it was the same author. Based on like writing styles, the characters and the vibe are just like so vastly different, but done extremely well, I think. And I just love it. I really like the characters and the world she's created and the like moral dilemmas and like things they have to overcome. I just think it's done. It's fantastic. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. Parts of this though, like there was a scene that was getting described, and given it was probably like 4 a.m. when I was reading this, and she was like describing this scene and this ritual, and I was just like not fully following it. I was just kind of nodding my head like, okay, yeah, whatever you say, babe. But I'm really enjoying myself. I really want to finish this. I had my boyfriend Google, because I thought there was gonna be more in the series, but I wasn't sure. So I asked him to Google it for me because I didn't want to see spoilers about the end of this book. And there will be more in this series. I really hope this ends up with things kind of tied in a neat little bow. I think I will lose my mind if this ends on a cliffhanger, and I'll have to wait like a year or two for another book. But I am very much enjoying this. It's definitely different than the first book. The first book, Ninth House, is like this whodunit kind of murder mystery. That's kind of like the structure of the book is you're trying to figure that out, adding in like the school and the society and the magical elements. Like there was like a lot going on, and this doesn't really have that murder mystery element. There's so much going on in this book though. There are so many different like plot lines to follow. It's never a dull moment. I haven't really had a lot of points in this book other than maybe the very beginning, where I was like, this is kind of boring, I'm not super into it, but it's 5:30 a.m. I have not slept. I will say, I took a weird midday, like late afternoon nap, so that's why I'm still up, but I was feeling kind of sleepy when I picked this up, and I'm fully energized now. Also, sorry, I'm kind of delirious, but I think it's so funny because big Taylor Swift fan. I'm actually wearing a Mirrorball shirt right now, but big Taylor Swift fan. The Tortured Poets Department came out, and in this book, guess what there is? There's an albatross. I'm like, I know the lore behind the albatross because I googled it when Taylor Swift's song The Albatross came out. So very interesting. Very interesting. One of my favorite songs in the album, I think like the lore is so interesting for it too. So watch it be like, I mean like absolutely nothing in this book. Watch it mean absolutely nothing. Also, I am living on non-existent crumbs for a certain thing in this book. And it kills me. It's killing me. But I want to finish this book, but I wanted to give a little update. I will now finish this book. I finished Hellbent after my random almost all-nighter. I did end up taking like a random early morning nap, you could say, and I just recently finished like the last 50-70 pages I had. I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed this series. I actually tabbed and like took notes, not took notes, but like underlined points I liked or thought were important in both of these books, which I have not done in a very long time, and it's not something I do very often. So I think that like shows how much I liked this book and the writing in particular in this book. Also, it quoted like my favorite Shakespeare quote, and it's used in a lot of fantasy books, but I just like it. It's hell is empty and all the devils are here. Used in a lot of fantasy books. It's not like very unique to have been referencing that line of Shakespeare's in this, but I just like it. It just kind of hits. I will say the last like 50 pages of this were not as exciting as some of the stuff I was reading in the middle of the night and early this morning. But I'm not mad with how this book ended. I am mad that I'll probably have to wait like a year or two for another book in the series, but I'm trying to think out of the two of these which one I liked more. I don't know. Maybe Hellbent, because I was like already like into the world and stuff, but absolutely great. Like a great series, would highly recommend. It's definitely a 4-star or higher. I think I need more time to cook with it, but very much recommend. I was very interested. It is definitely a darker series, and if you are interested in reading this, you should look up the trigger warnings, because there definitely are a few topics in here that are quite dark, you know, and some people might want to have a heads up on. But I think this is my favorite Leigh Bardugo series. I definitely liked Six of Crows, but I think I liked this more. I think this is probably like a 4.5. Anyways, I am emotionally drained from this series, but regardless, I want to figure out what I'll be reading next. So we got her here. And let's see. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. This is not what I wanted. So it says, a book that has been on your TBR the longest. That is a scary one, man. I'm trying to think of some of the books that have been on my TBR list the longest. I think it's definitely like Malibu Rising, I've had for a while. I've had People We Meet on Vacation for a while. Let me pull up. I have a physical TBR list on Goodreads. Let me see if I can do it by date added. reverse. Oh, I've had the Alice Network for a long time. Oh my god. Okay. I'm gonna categorize any of the books that I've had for over a year. Oh god. Okay, so books I've had for over a year: People We Meet on Vacation, Malibu Rising, The Alice Network, Carnegie's Maid, As Long as the Lemon Tree Grows, scared of that one, romantic comedy, Killjoy, Mistborn, and Six Crimson Cranes. I've had on my list for over a year. Okay then. Is it cheating to pick Killjoy? It's a good girl's guide to murder novella. You know what? I'm gonna pick Killjoy. It wasn't even on my TBR cart. I forgot. I honestly forgot about that book. I'll be so honest. So I probably should really get to reading it, but I think I'm gonna do Killjoy because I can't with some of these. I can't be jumping into Mistborn right now. I can't with Six Crimson Cranes. I need something lighter, but then I also don't want to read like People We Meet on Vacation because I just read Funny Story. And I can't with some of these other ones. So I'm just gonna do Killjoy. I'm gonna have a nice little palate cleanser, a little murder mystery prequel. And it'll be good. The sad thing about this book is it does have water damage. I messed it up a little bit. But I think this is exactly what I need. I can just sit and read this probably today. And take it off my physical TBR because I kind of forgot about it. I finally finished this. I didn't read it the day I thought I would, but I picked it up last night and I finished it really quickly, which was to be expected. The book is only like 115 pages, this little novella, but I was surprised with how much I actually did like it. I think it's a really great prequel to the series. It kind of introduces like why Pip is interested kind of like in investigations, and I honestly thought this book was funnier than I expected it to be. It's nothing like super deep or super crazy, but it was fun and interesting, and it sets up the trilogy well. It makes sense. I don't think this was like useless to have. I think it very much paves the way for why we pick up where we do in the series. Yeah, not too much to say other than it was super quick and I was pleasantly surprised. I haven't read a ton of novellas. I'm trying to think of other ones I've read. There's one in the Naturals series, and that one was fine. And then there's the novella that comes after a sorcery of Thorns, something like that. And I liked that novella a lot. So yeah, this one stands up. It's like a 4-star. it's a 4-star for like what I expected it to be. Like this would not equate to like a normal 4-star book, but for a novella, it's a 4-star. Anyways, it's been on my TBR for like a year. I honestly forgot I had this. It wasn't even on my TBR cart because I have like this trilogy on my bookshelf altogether with this one, and I completely forgot about it. So it was really good that I got it on this and I went through my Goodreads. But it does mean that we are ready for the last little scratch off. So let's see what we got. There are definitely some books I want to read more than others. So oh God, a book that has more than 500 pages. Well, the book I wanted to read will not fit this category. I surely have many books on my TBR that are more than 500 pages, but I'm not gonna lie, I was wanting to read book 2 in the Royal Blood series called like Royal Scandal, because it came out like last month. But I doubt that book is more than like 350 pages. So we're gonna have to go over to the cart and figure out what books fall under this category. I'm going to have to take a lot of these books off of the TBR cart to figure out which ones are over 500 pages or over. So that's gonna take a minute. Few here from the physical TBR that are over 500 pages. So we have Swordcatcher by Cassandra Clare, which I for some reason just have not read yet. It's just slightly over 600 pages, so that meets the requirement. We have, this is Throne of the Fallen by Gary Maniscalco. I just lost the cover to this. I sat down and read like 3 pages of this months and months ago, so I took off the cover and I don't know where I put it. I will surely find it at some point, but this book is over 500 pages. Is there more after this? No. Okay, so this is 560 pages, so it meets the requirement. I have Little Women. Such a cute cover for it. And this one is like 580. And then I have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which is, oh god, 526. Oh wait, no, there's even more after this. 545. And on my Kindle, I don't have a lot. I have a lot of shorter books on my Kindle, I found, because I already looked through here. And I have a lot of like 450 page books, which is unfortunate for me. But I could do Jade City. I could do The Heart of Betrayal, which is the second book in the Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson, who wrote Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. I could also do the second book in the Shades of Magic series, A Gathering of Shadows, or I could do When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I don't know which one to do. I think I'm gonna do a physical copybook, but I'm between these 3 guys. Oh my god, I've kind of ruined this. It's gotten all scratched up, I didn't even notice. The gold foiling. gonna do Throne of the Fallen. I got this book, I don't even know when, but a while ago, in the winter. So I need to read it. And I liked this series. I like Carrie Maniscalco a lot. I really enjoyed her Stalking Jack the Ripper series, even though I haven't finished it. So I think I will definitely enjoy this. So I'm just gonna go for it. It is a big book. I think it's her biggest one. I don't think the other books in this world were as big. It's 560 pages, so this is it. I'll let you know if I find the cover for this, but let's get started on the last book. Okay, I'm finally done. So I've knocked off the first 4 of the TBR prompts on my cutie little bookmark, and it went well. Did I read diversely? Not really. I read a whole lot of fantasy, but so for the first one, book that's in a series, so I went to my Kindle and I read Heartless Hunter. That's the name of it. I kept on calling it The Crimson Moth, which is the name of the duology, but it's called Heartless Hunter. So I kept on messing that up. It is a duology. The second one isn't out yet. It comes out early 2025, I think like February or something. Maybe I'm wrong. But Heartless Hunter is about a girl who is a witch in a world where witches are hunted because of some like backstory where there used to be like queens who were witches and they were like not great and they got ousted. So ever since the witch queens got ousted, witches have been hunted. And the love interest in the story is a witch hunter. Female main character is a witch. You kind of get the gist of things. So I was interested in this for a while, and it was on Kindle Unlimited, and book in a series. I was like, this is perfect, the perfect time to do it, because I read Serpent and Dove last year, and Serpent and Dove is kind of the same basic plot for the story, as in witch versus witch hunter, female and male main character, and I really enjoyed that series, which was kind of surprising to me. So I was like, this is up my alley, and the book was good. I think I gave it like a 3-star. It was just kind of fine. I think I actually enjoyed Serpent and Dove more, which I thought I would enjoy this book more, but I think what Serpent and Dove does better is that it has more of like a found family aspect. There are characters outside of the like back and forth between witch and witch hunter that you care about in that series, where this really just focuses on the 2 main characters, and there's just not a lot more to the story like I kind of wish there was. I think it's good that this is going to be a duology. I'm not necessarily counting down the days, but if you like romantasy, you would probably like this book. I just wanted a little bit more from it. But it wasn't a bad time, and I knocked the first one off my list, and a book I had really been wanting to read. Next, I had a book in my favorite genre, which is fantasy, and I was kind of looking for any excuse to read Hellbent because it had just arrived, and I really enjoyed Ninth House, and I think I might have enjoyed Ninth House more just because I liked the mystery of that book more, but I really enjoyed this series as a whole. I'm very sad because they haven't even announced book 3, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm very sad that I don't even know when I'll get more. But I enjoyed this. The plot of this series, because I don't want to go into the plot of this book because it's book 2 in a series, but Ninth House is like dark academia with a like murder mystery plot point in the first one and fantasy. So it's kind of like checking off all of my boxes of things that I enjoy. And It's a bit of a darker series. You have a morally gray main character, but I really enjoy her perspective because you really understand why she makes the decisions she makes and like how she comes to that conclusion, whether it's just through her internal monologue, snippets we get of her life growing up. It becomes like very clear why she makes these maybe bad, maybe wrong, like decisions. Like you see her rationale for it and you can understand where she's coming from. But I think her perspective is just done so well. I feel like this is a very well thought out book. I think this is my favorite series that Leigh Bardugo has written, and I did really enjoy the Six of Crows duology, so it is saying quite a bit. But this is just quite different than what I read. I think I don't really read a lot of dark academia. I tried reading The Secret History and temporarily gave up. But this takes place at Yale in good old New Haven, and it's the secret societies there are like tied to magic, and I really enjoyed this. I actually tabbed both books in this series, which I have not done for a while, so that's kind of big for me. I just adored this though. It's very well written. This was like a 4.5, 4.25, I don't know. I don't remember what I gave it, but it's something in that world. This was the highlight of this video for sure, which is kind of cheating because I knew it would be. But we got our second book on the list taken care of. Next was one that has been on my TBR for the longest. So this hasn't been on my TBR like the longest. There are definitely like a book or two that have been on longer, but this has been on my TBR for over a year. I honestly forgot I had it. It was not even on my TBR cart because I kind of forgot I had it, and I had it with like the rest of the series, which I have read. But I really loved this. I thought it was a great novella. I think it's hard. It's probably quite hard to write a novella for a completed series when it is supposed to be like a prequel. But I think this was done very well. I think it gives us some insight to like how the story starts and why Pip picks this to be like her senior capstone project. And it was fun and good. It was nice to be back in Pip's mind. It was a cute, quick read. This was a 4-star, especially for a novella. I thought it was great. Really great. And lastly, guys, look! I found the cover for it. I thought for sure there was no way I was ever gonna find this. I thought for sure it had actually fallen behind like this like storage container I have. I must have had it like on top of the storage container and it fell like back behind, and I was cleaning the other day and I found it. I never thought I'd find this sleeve again. I thought it was good as gone, but it's so pretty, so I'm so glad I have it. This book was fine. This book was fine. I enjoyed the plot. I thought the plot was cool. I wish there was more. This is such a big book and I wish more of it was plot. I'm not gonna lie, the main characters and their relationship, like, it was fine. It was fine. I just wish, like, this scavenger hunt game, it was such an interesting and intriguing plot. I just wish there was more to it. And I feel like it's that simple. This book was fine. It's a 3-star book. I audiobooked and read this bad boy. It's so big though. This book is so big. How many pages is it? It is 560 something pages. It's a lot. And this is definitely a spicy book. A lot of this was spice. And I just feel like at a certain point of the book, most of the focus was on their relationship, which was very back and forth. It lacked so much communication, and I just wish there was more in the plot. I found the plot to be more interesting, more compelling than like their relationship. So I will continue with this series. I really like the brothers. I think they're funny. I kind of wish we got more out of Envy though, because I liked Envy. I liked him in the original trilogy, I remember that. And we got like some background on him, but I was a little disappointed with this book, but I have hope for the future. But it was a massive book to get off my TBR, and this gave me the chance to do it. Oh, I didn't even read which prompt it was for. It was for a book that has more than 500 pages, and I just said this has, oh my god, what did I say, 560? God, it feels like this is a 600 page book, and it's not. Yeah, 560, so it just kind of made the cutoff. But it gave me a chance to get some good books off of my TBR. A big one that's been on my TBR forever, even though it's a really short one. So I'm glad I did this. It wasn't necessarily like the best reading week I've ever had. I had some kind of like mediocre books, but that's fine because I still had Hellbent. So good. But it was fun. It was a little difficult because a lot of these, well, not really a lot, really just Throne of the Fallen I wasn't in the mood for. I really wanted to read Heartless Hunter, even though I didn't end up loving it, so I can't say that I wasn't excited to read that, but it was interesting to get myself in the mood to read books I wasn't necessarily in the mood for. So I'll definitely be doing it again. My TBR, my physical TBR, has gone down, which is great. That's one of the things I wanted from this. And we'll see if I can get a better variety of books next time, because it was very, very heavy on fantasy this time, which I'm not complaining about. But to be honest, a lot of books on my TBR are not fantasy books. So we'll see what happens next time.